Imagine waking up in a world where electricity is as ubiquitous and natural as air itself, not something that is concealed behind walls, transported by metal wires, or owned, billed, or measured by corporations. You stroll down a street that is illuminated by unseen power pulsing through the environment rather than lighting attached to subterranean wires. You merely need to be close to energy to charge your devices instead of plugging them in. A single genius transformed everything. Your car moves, your house stays warm, and your cities shine. Tesla, Nikola. This is the man who once dared to envision a wireless technology-enabled future. But in our reality, that ideal was crushed, disregarded, crushed by the weight of avarice and industry. History books say it was impossible or Tesla was crazy. But what if he wasn't? What would have happened if Wardenclyffe Tower had succeeded? Suppose Edison hadn't won? What if there had been a real wireless technology world? Tonight, we address that topic. Thanks to Tesla, we are entering a future of clean, unfettered, and free power. But behind that door lies more than just inventiveness. It is a revolution in human behavior, thought, building, and even government. Electricity is not the only issue here. This is about what occurs when power, in all its forms, is something that is shared rather than something that can be bought. Greetings from Distopiah. That could have been this world. No one in his era was like Nikola Tesla. He looked to possibility, while others looked to profit. Tesla gazed at the skies as Edison plotted in boardrooms. In retrospect, the fact that he was born during a lightning storm almost seems poetic. His thoughts were never at rest. He perceived patterns in the universe rather than pieces. Without a single wire, he envisioned towers that could use the Earth's natural frequencies to distribute electricity via the air and ground, lighting up entire continents. Energy, in his opinion, should be freely distributed around the world since it is a natural force rather than a commodity. He had no desire for wealth. He desired to present a gift to humanity. Wireless energy was the gift. In Shoreham, New York, Tesla started construction on the enormous 187-foot-tall Wardenclyffe Tower in 1901. Its skeleton stretched toward the sky like the bones of a lost tomorrow. Tesla's goal was simple: to send energy over the air. He believed that if he could effectively harness the Earth's capacity to transport electromagnetic waves at particular frequencies, he could create a global wireless power transmission system. Neither was he wrong. He was years ahead of his time, perhaps even decades ahead, as we now know. J.P. Morgan, a financier, contributed some of the funds that Tesla used to launch the project. But after finding out that Tesla has no intention of charging customers for the electricity, Morgan had second thoughts. "Where do we put the meter if anyone can tap into the power?" asked Morgan. That judgment was a death sentence for wireless technology. Tesla was called a crazy and had little money. The tower was never finished. It was disassembled and sold for scrap years later. Tesla became less and less well known. Uncelebrated, broke, and alone, he passed away in a motel room. However, what if Morgan had recognized the possibilities? What if the tower was completed? What if Europe had been illuminated without wires in 1903 when Tesla delivered a wave of wireless energy across the Atlantic Ocean? In this parallel history, the world abruptly alters after Wardenclyffe's success. The media goes crazy. Global investors scramble to support Tesla's goal. Rival structures appear in Tokyo, Berlin, Moscow, and London. By the 1920s, major cities are connected by a global network of Tesla towers that radiate electricity through the earth and sky. Power turns into a right rather than a privilege. the oil industry begins to collapse before it ever fully recovers. Coal becomes irrelevant. The ecosystem bounces back from decades of damage. The pollution never stops above industrial cities. There is no competition for oil in the Middle East. There were no world wars fought over fuel. It recreates itself on the map of geopolitics. Technology is developing quickly. Innovation is driven by boundless enthusiasm. Electric vehicles are a 1930s norm rather than a 21st century luxury. Aircraft that don't have combustion engines run softly. Instead of being a military tool, the first internet appears as a public resource in the 1950s. Across continents, communication is wireless, instantaneous, and unimpeded. Space travel follows a different route. The first lunar base is constructed in the 1970s, when clean energy is abundant. By 1990, we have permanent stations on Mars. The Cold War never occurs, or not in the same way, because no one needs to control the energy conduits. The power shifts to whoever controls the frequencies rather than the oil. But it's not all sunshine and roses. Our planet is filled with energy, which also poses new dangers. If power is in the air, vulnerability is too. Cyber warfare employs frequency interference instead of coding and begins early. Governments scramble to protect their energy infrastructure. Instead, than targeting servers, hackers target the signal. New types of weapons arise: silent, imperceptible, electromagnetic. Infrastructure as a notion is constantly changing. Instead of power plants, there are towers, and if one of them collapses, the entire area may go dark. Some people are afraid of being overly dependent. Others are concerned about the signal's controller. Does energy remain free, or does it ultimately get regulated? The ideal begins to crumble under the influence of politics. For many years to come, Tesla will be the lighthouse of civilization. He makes it through long enough to see his towers go around the globe. Statues of him now stand where oil tycoons once stood. Children are educated about the man who used no cables to power the earth. He wins multiple Nobel Prizes. His notebooks have been preserved and his ideas have been broadened. Not merely a footnote, Tesla's contributions form the foundation of higher education. Without a doubt, the greatest intellectual of the 20th century was this person. It's not Einstein, it's Tesla. We do not, however, live in that reality. This is the society we live in, one where wires bind us, where energy monopolies rule, where we choke on fumes, and where the merits of clean electricity are still up for debate. A society where power availability is still unequal and electric cars are considered a luxury. Since wireless was impossible, the dream never died. It failed due to its lack of profitability. Giving out energy endangered those who based their empires on scarcity, which is why it died. And that might be the most tragic thing of all. We could have created Tesla's world, but we decided not to. Therefore, keep in mind that things didn't have to be this way. The next time you plug something in, hear static in your headphones, or walk by a buzzing power line. There was an other route, one more future. The planet is humming beneath our feet and above our heads, cleaner, freer, and more linked. A planet that only existed in Tesla's imagination. If you like this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more interesting stories. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, continue with the untold alternatives of history with Dystopia.